Hello and welcome to Walking the Earth podcast. I'm Mike Margulies, today in Chiang Mai, Thailand, joined by my buddy Daniel Stiles. What's up, Daniel?
Hey, how you going?
And quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you by Audible. And so, as you may know, if you go to audibletrial.com/WTE podcast, you can get yourself, just for being a listener of this show, get yourself a free audiobook. So some books that listeners of this show might be interested in. I've mentioned before The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Another good one is Never Eat Alone. That's one of the first books I read actually since coming backpacking. It's about networking. Another good read. These books and many more available in Audible. So definitely check it out, free audiobook, and you'll go ahead and it'll support the show just by getting something free for yourself. So please do check it out, audibletrial.com/WTE podcast. But now bring things back to Chiang Mai. Daniel, we're sitting right now actually in your cafe bar Focus.
Yep.
So you own this place, run it, which is awesome, kind of running a business abroad. I guess I'd definitely be interested to hear more about how you got this place going and the story behind it,
Well, I'd been living here for quite a long time already, and always, my background is in hospitality, so it's something I'm familiar with. A friend of mine who'd had quite a few bars, restaurants, coffee shops here before, approached me one day and said, would I like to start a coffee shop, a bar with him? And I said, wow, that's a great idea, fantastic, I'd love to do it. And he said, great, quit teaching, we'll start a shop. And I was like, whoa, I can't do that, I need bread and butter, I need to eat every day, I can't afford to do that. So he said, okay, plan B. He asked 2 more friends. We all got together one Friday night, had a couple of drinks together. Everybody said, yes, great idea, let's do it. And, for me, I'm pretty, slow moving. That's why I like Chiang Mai. It's, slow pace.
Yeah, it's very sabai, as they say here.
Yeah. I get an idea, and then, 6 months later, I do it. Unfortunately, he's not like that.
Right.
And then 2 weeks later, he's like, I've got us a shop, give me money. Let's do it. And I was like, stop, what's going on?
Where are the brakes?
yeah. And I mean, that's what it's been like ever since, where are the brakes? Let's what's going on? I'm racing all the time to keep up with it, to keep it moving. And in that sense, it's been good for me because I've been this chilled out sabai person.
Yeah.
This 4-hour workday.
4-hour, yeah. Did you read Tim Ferriss also?
No, but I heard it then. I'm like, I gotta read that.
Well, you can check it out on Audible.
I will.
It's a good read.
Yeah, so it's it's been character changing and character building, and it's been a good experience.
Yeah, so you were already, I guess, living in Chiang Mai at the time, teaching English.
Yep.
And then, so this kind of came to you, I guess it sounds.
Yes. I wouldn't even say came to me. I would probably say I was hit over the head with it. Really. I was attacked by a coffee shop.
But you've got a sweet thing going here. I mean, the environment's it's nice. It's pretty sabai place.
If anybody of your listeners happens to know it, it's absolutely beautiful with the tree out the front and nice veranda, a garden. Beautiful just to sit here in the evening, late afternoon, drink coffee, relax, eat cake, drink beer. It's a tough life.
Really. Someone's got to do it though.
Really, yeah.
Actually, I'm sure a lot of listeners either probably are in Chiang Mai or are going to be coming here. I talk about Chiang Mai so much on this show that I'm sure plenty of people have been brainwashed enough to come out to the city. So folks that do make their way out here, I would definitely recommend coming out. Kind of in the northwest of what they call the old city in Chiang Mai, and it's a good spot.
Straight on the way to Doi Satep. I think anybody that comes here will go to Doi Satep. On your way to Doi Satep, look out on the left.
Yeah, I know I really like what you're doing is the language exchange event you've got going on.
Yes.
So I came out to the one just this past Saturday actually, and it was it's a really cool a really cool event because people from all different backgrounds are coming and they all want to learn. So it's some Thai people that want to learn English, some native English speakers or otherwise that want to learn Thai, or any other combination of things. I met a Chinese girl who wants to learn English, and everyone's just talking to each other and practicing basically.
It's the perfect like melting pot of different languages, different cultures, different ideas, people coming from different backgrounds with different like goals of what they want to do.
Yeah. I really like what you're doing. It's a great event, and for me, I've talked about before. It's something I'm trying to make more of an effort to do is, make more local friends. And I have found it more challenging here than other places, but this is a good way. I found I can reach out. I can just show up here to focus on a Wednesday or Saturday. And
Thailand's very different culture about friendship than what we're used to. There's things that we don't understand. There's things that's hard to get, but the Thai people that come. Generally come with a slightly more open mind about meeting people and talking to people and learning about other cultures.
Yes.
So these people, they've already opened a door.
Yes.
That a lot of people wouldn't.
Yeah, it's already kind of been filtered down to the people that, hey, these are people really interested in meeting, say, the Farang, the Westerners.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is nice. It ends up being a really nice thing.
I've made actually a lot of really good friends, and I continue to make more and more friends every week. That new people come, and and it's really a nice thing you put on. I guess you posted on Couchsurfing, and there's a Facebook. I want to be able to show people how to get there. So there's a Facebook group, there's a Facebook page, Language Exchange Chiang Mai. There's a group. There is a page, but I don't do so much with it. Most of it happens on the group.
Right.
So if you look on Facebook, Language Exchange Chiang Mai, you'll find it.
I'll link up to it. When I post each episode, I have like a little write-up, so I'll post a link for people to find it who are coming through the Chiang Mai. I have similar interests. Maybe want to practice Thai. Can come out here.
Yeah, there's a load of Thai people. There's a load of expats that come here, or teachers that come here as well. A lot of them speak Thai really well. Chinese is really common. German, Japanese. There's an older Japanese guy comes the other week. He had like 10 or 12 Thai students, Thai people that were Japanese students.
Learning Japanese.
He just had them all around the table. They were laughing in Japanese. I was like, I had no idea what was going on. He could have just been counting to 10, but everyone was in hysteria.
Awesome, man. It's a great thing going, and you've now been out here. You're like a seasoned vet of this.
Nearly 5 years.
5 years in Chiang Mai.
Nearly 5 years.
I could see myself staying for 5 years too.
It's
I've already spent months
out
here.
Easy.
Yeah. I came to Chiang Mai for the first time in January, but I've been back and forth coming back, and it's like I think I've spent already like 3 months in this city.
It's once you come to Chiang Mai, everything changes about Thailand, about Southeast Asia, about how you feel about the place, what you think, and
What brought you here originally?
I came to Thailand for a holiday. I was getting to. I'd never traveled overseas.
Were you still like working a job back home at the time?
I was running a restaurant. I was at university
in the UK.
In Australia.
In Australia. Okay.
Yeah. Running a restaurant at university, and I'd play a lot of music as well. And I was just getting.
We've got some nice ambient sounds of making the coffee now. We're actually on the scene right now of Focus.
The advantage is we can smell the beautiful aroma.
It is a nice aroma. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
So I was just getting to a point in my life where I really wanted to travel, and I hadn't traveled.
Yeah.
And I was getting older, and I was like, okay, I just got to do it. And so I took a break from university. I quit my job, and I packed up my stuff, everything, and basically got on a plane a month later and was in Thailand.
Was this like an open-ended trip?
No, it was a 3-month trip.
Okay.
I was going to go Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, go back to
the backpacker
Australia.
Trail, which I did as well.
and wanted to do it exactly because it was my first time overseas, and everyone was like, Thailand's probably one of the best countries you can go to in terms of like ease, to ease yourself into being a backpacker and traveling.
Like the first stop usually.
Yeah, first and
And
last.
also the last, yeah, exactly. The first one and then the place you circle back to,
Yeah,
basically.
When I got here, I absolutely hated it. I didn't like Thailand in any way whatsoever. My dreams of what Thailand was were so far from the reality that
Yeah.
I was in Phuket and down south and I hated it, and I was in Bangkok and I hated it, and I was at the point where I was like, I'm just going to go back home. I'm not wasting my money.
So you were just completely turned off,
Yep.
like when you got here.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. The first 2 or 3 weeks, and maybe that's like traveler's shock or adjustment or anything.
Well, it
But-
could be just being in Bangkok and Phuket.
Exactly, and I
Kinda-
still don't like those places now.
Yeah, Bangkok's definitely not my favorite place either.
No. And then I remembered that some friends had said, go to Chiang Mai. Whatever you do, before you do anything, like before make sure you see Chiang Mai. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Chiang Mai. If I don't like Chiang Mai, I'm going to go home. And I got up here, first day in Chiang Mai, just like felt like I'd come home. And I never have felt like that anywhere in Australia. Anywhere
Wow.
traveling around Australia, any places I've ever lived in Australia, I've never been able to like just breathe and like be home. And it was
Yeah.
really bizarre for me, and I stayed here for like 3 weeks and traveled around north, rented a motorbike, did some loops, went to all the other cities around here, and then already in my head I'd already decided I was going to do a TEFL course, teach English here for a year. So
This just happened like this. You were dead set on leaving, done with the trip, but then coming here, you just switched up. Up, no, I'm gonna stay and teach English.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Maybe something's wrong with my
No,
thought
man.
process, but
No, I don't think so at all. I think that's a pretty typical thing maybe out here.
yeah, I couldn't see what was I going to go home for when I could be here, and it seemed like I
Yeah.
wanted to be here so much, and I traveled around for another 2.5 months, and then my TEFL course started. I did the TEFL course, got a job, and
Yeah.
5 years later I'm still
So
here.
you never went back. Did you go back after the 3 months?
No, I didn't.
You just stayed.
Yeah, 5 years I've been back one time
Wow.
for 3 weeks.
Wow,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I can relate. It's funny. I feel like this podcast, in many ways, is becoming the Chiang Mai promo podcast, walking the Chiang Mai podcast. 'Cause I feel like it always speaking its praises, but it's
Brought to you by the Tourism Authority of Thailand.
yeah, we really ought to get sponsored by this city. But I think this happens. It's a common thing that happens to a lot of people. It's got the perfect balance of it's got the comforts
Yep.
of home, but you
Yep.
still got decent cost of living.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
really, and a good place to be an entrepreneur, as you can I think speak to.
Yeah. It's not only that it's like you've got all the comforts of a first world city
Right.
at the cost
exactly.
of a at a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
But Chiang Mai has this benefit that you can just drive your motorbike for 5 minutes, and you're in
It's
the
tiny,
wilderness.
walkable.
It's
yeah. Also, nature's
Yeah.
close by.
yeah, and
Yep.
and some of it's stunning, some of it's absolutely beautiful, and
It's a special spot. I think I talked enough about Chiang Mai on this show. Did you ever end up actually making it out to Laos in Cambodia, or you just got?
yes, I
you
did.
Okay.
Yeah, Laos I quite liked. It's
Yeah.
very quiet and much more chilled out. Beer Lao is fantastic. You can plug Beer Lao. I recommend that. And I spent most of my time at the 4,000 Islands.
Ah, yeah. I
Just-
went to Don Det.
I think,
before
yeah.
last night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those listening, this is like an area just at the border, actually, of Laos and Cambodia. It's kind of like islands. Is it like a river? I guess
It's part of the Mekong
It's
River,
part of the Mekong,
and
yeah.
it like spreads out so much that all the sediment in the water settles.
Yeah.
And it's it's not this dirty brown. It's almost clear. It's quite
Yeah, it's Don Det. It was a cool spot.
Yeah.
I remember like riding a bicycle, and kind of like riding around. the
Yeah, okay,
island.
I did that, and there's like, if you go the wrong way, you're on this bumpy road for half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely awful, but
Yeah, it's a cool little place. I didn't stay. You know what? I kind of feel like I needed to stay long. I only was in Laos for like a week and a half actually.
Yeah.
For I don't know. Maybe, well, I guess the guy I was traveling with at the time, he kind of travels faster than I tend to be a really slow traveler. I get in a spot, and if I like it, I'll just stay there for
Yes.
weeks on end.
Same.
My buddy though, he's kind of on a mission actually to see like every country in the world. We used to be colleagues actually, so we met up. It's actually I did a podcast episode with him earlier. It's Ben Berardines. I want to say it was episode 20 or something, but we used to be
what
colleagues.
episode is this? Sorry.
This is going to be episode 40.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So this. Yeah.
Busy. Been busy.
Yeah. Been keeping busy on this year on the road. But yeah, I met up with this. Ben was an old colleague of mine. Back in the day, I used to work. We both were engineers together when we were corporate men. But he was like traveling through China while I was here in Chiang Mai actually. And we kind of, when my visa expired, his did as well. So we met in the middle in Laos. It was cool catching up with someone like, from the same background.
Yeah.
We can relate, and it's like, yeah, we both had a very similar story. We were there. We kind of rejected that lifestyle we used to live and came out. But yeah, folks who want to hear more from him on that, you can check out that episode. But yeah, he's on. We kind of compromised in that. He's moving faster, so and that was fine for me. Lao didn't click for me as much as some other places did.
Yes,
but there's that part of me that thinks, well, maybe if I gave it some more time, maybe I'll be back.
I think
to do a
it's
border run or something.
Too quiet. It's too still. It's too like it doesn't have like any sense of movement. I really got this like it's what I like about Chiang Mai. It's laid back.
Right.
But this is perhaps Laos is like a whole country like that, or just a little bit too much like that.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure maybe I may at some point make my way back there, because I think it's common for people in Chiang Mai that need a visa go to Vientiane, Laos, and get it figured out. But, the thing that struck me actually about Laos is at the time I had this feeling that there was a very big distance between the foreigners and the locals.
Yes.
Like I would say even we got some nice baking going on now too. But I would say even more so than here in Thailand, and that kind of like I like places where people are kind of doing things together, like the event you throw here. It's like it's nice, like integrated and balanced. Although then again, I think maybe part of that was on me. I could have made an effort to reach out some more. So I wonder if I go back again, I'll personally reach out more.
Yeah, may learn a little bit of the language first.
Yeah.
Or make an effort. That's a huge thing.
Yeah. And you're like fluent in Thai.
Not really, but
you seem it when I watch you. When I see you talking.
I think if you don't speak any Thai, I look quite fluent maybe, but I'm always not understanding things, and I'm always trying to learn more. But I'm a terrible student. I'm like lazy as anything. Give me homework, I won't do it. I need to do it.
Right.
I can't like sit in a classroom. So I only studied Thai a little bit to learn to read and write. And that was maybe
so you can
6
actually
months
read
ago.
it.
Yep.
It's so difficult for me to I look at when I see Thai written out, there's like not even spaces between the words.
Yeah. It's incredibly annoying.
I just like it just baffles my mind to even try to. I'm sure I guess once you know it makes more sense.
I have never actually asked anybody about why, like what is the real reasoning, but one thing I see is in Thai a lot of words are just words built upon themselves.
Okay.
So then where do you put a space between that idea? Or some things are like the ideas are interconnected.
Okay.
So then
interesting.
if those 4 words make a word like impossible.
Okay, so it's like 4 different sounds that have kind of sub meanings, but like together they make impossible. They make the word impossible. Okay.
Yes. And then
making it nearly impossible to comprehend what's.
Sometimes it's very like I scratch your head, but sometimes it makes beautiful sense.
Right. Well, I'm sure with enough studying, like okay, then it becomes like.
If you don't know a word, you can take a pretty good guess, and
right.
50% of the time you'll be right, because there's sometimes a logic to how their language is built.
Yeah. The structure actually is sort of like it is like more logical than like I would say English. Like if I was going to say in English, I would say what is your name, and you say my name is.
Yeah.
But like in Thai, I think structurally it's your name, what, my name. It's just parallel. The question and the answer are the same structure.
Yeah.
So in some ways it's sort of like easier in that sense.
Yeah, and you can answer questions with the verb.
Yeah.
Are you going somewhere? Instead of like, yes, I am, you would just say, go.
Going somewhere.
Yeah, going.
Are you going somewhere? Going
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's beautiful. It's incredibly difficult because it's tonal.
Right. That's the hardest part. As like an native English speakers, it's like, am I going up, down, flat?
Having never been exposed to tones before,
Yeah.
I think that the first 2 years, you need to learn how to rehear. When someone's correcting you or when someone's saying something, you need to learn how to to listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, because we listen for like, what's the sound you're making? It's an A sound, an I sound. But really, it's more important, I'd say. Here's not the sound. It's like what direction is the voice going?
And the length of that tone.
Yeah.
The length of that vowel. And another major difference is their final sounds aren't that strong. Sometimes they don't even say them. Whereas we identify a lot of our words with that final sound.
Okay.
And that's very weak in Thai. It's more to do with the vowel and the tone. And we're more about the consonant and the final sounds.
Yeah.
So then that can be another really difficult thing to learn to rehear, or learn to re-listen, and then learn to say it.
Yeah. It definitely comes with its set of challenges. Although I guess it's kind of like anything in life, right? If you want to learn to play guitar, there's unique challenges to playing guitar. And if you just sit down and you just decide you want to do it, you can learn it,
If you just play the same 4 chords forever, that's all you'll ever be able to play.
Yeah, exactly. And I fall in this trap sometimes with guitar. Sometimes it's really easy to keep playing what I know. I play the things I know. Yeah. And then what I really ought to do is spend more time on I've been playing guitar for all this time, and I can play the things I play well. I can play well, but I still suck at bar chords.
Yeah, okay.
It's what's up with that? Okay, maybe I just need to.
You just need to do it.
Yeah, and I've started to force myself to practice more, but it's really easy to practice, keep doing the things you're good at, because it's reward. You get this reward from that sounds good. That's nice.
I played flamenco back in Australia. I played with some dancers and played.
Nice.
And anybody that knows it, it's technically difficult. It's 8 years of practicing technique before you can actually play a song. It's so ridiculously hard. So if you want, I'll show you some. That's what I did.
What instrument's this?
On guitar.
You play flamenco style. I thought I associate flamenco with the dance. I thought you were saying you know the dance style. Maybe also.
No. Nobody ever ever asked me to dance. I was hanging around all the time, trying to look good, trying to look sexy, but no one ever asked. So.
Yeah, but you can play that style.
In Australia, I played a lot. I played 2 or 3 hours every day, every morning.
Oh, nice.
Since I've come to Thailand, there's no inspiration because there's no other people that are into it. There's no dancers.
It's like a very small niche kind of thing.
Even in Australia, it was tiny. And here the flamenco scene is me.
Well, that could be, you could have a flamenco night at Focus.
Well, I would like
Watch
to.
Daniel play.
Yeah. I just do it sometimes when there's customers here and they can't leave. We lock the door.
Force them this. For me, it's since traveling, I play a lot more. Because when I was working, I just never really had the time to devote to playing. I had a guitar at home, but I just never really played it. But now, since traveling, I have more time, and I end up, I never really. I played guitar for years, but never really seriously played. I never became. I wasn't really decent at it until I started traveling, and then now I can play all the time.
I think for me it went down because my routine was practice in the morning, because I would work in the evening and at night for the restaurant. So I would wake up at a relaxed 9 o'clock. Make a pot of coffee, and sit and play the guitar on my veranda inside for 2 hours or something, and then go and do everything that I had to do, then get ready and go to work. Perfect. Yeah. I don't know why I gave up that life. Whereas here, when I was traveling, you normally get up in the morning, you got somewhere to go, something to do, something to see. So I wouldn't play. And then when I started working here, I'm teaching, so I'm up early in the morning, and routine was broken.
Just the routine's different.
And I never found another comfortable routine.
Yeah, the routines really do. We actually had an episode a few back. This fellow Fraser, who's actually bicycling around the entire world.
Wow.
Really interesting dude. That's just for folks on here. I think it was episode, I want to say 34. But he's bicycling around the entire world. But he also had this idea called cycle hacking, which is kind of like a double entendre, because he's about bicycling, but really it's about the cycles as in the habits of your life.
Okay.
And his whole thing is you can if you can master your own cycles of life, like get rid of bad habits and bring
Yep.
in new habits,
Yep.
like that's what really like your life is defined by, is these routines we get ourselves in. So I really kind of dug that idea of, I have to, maybe I should do this myself, like examine like, okay, what are my habits right now hanging out here in Chiang Mai? Like how can I, for example, be more productive on this podcast or other projects, and versus what other things I could be doing,
I could be somebody's entire life case study with my bad habits. Or
Nah, we all have bad habits and good habits, though.
Yeah.
And I think it's, well, the idea is we try our best to break the bad ones and nurture the good ones.
Yeah, and a bad habit's as hard to break as a good habit.
Yeah.
So you need to, before if you see yourself doing something, you need to stop it.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
need to.
And for me, like it's one observation that some my co-host Justin, who's in the States, he kind of during that episode with Fraser had the astute observation. Maybe I'm in the habit now of moving. Being a backpacker, I've been this habit of moving. And it's very hard for me to just actually stay put.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is the reason I came to Chiang Mai, because I was tired of moving so much, and I wanted to be in one place. But even here, I ended up going to Pi and staying there for, I never really settled down yet.
Yeah.
So working
And
on that.
But then, is that necessarily a bad habit, or
That's
is
true.
that something you just want to change, or something you just want to improve, or
Yeah.
be more in control of?
Maybe it's not a bad thing, because ultimately for me it was I was just looking to. I wasn't happy in the way I was. I loved traveling and moving around, but I had run its course sort of for that. I'm sure I'll go back to it, but at that point in time, it kind of had served its purpose. I wanted more stability of relationships, really, and I got that actually. I came to Pi. I went to Pi with some friends, and so I still kind of have a set of relationships now that people I've known for weeks now versus just a few days.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
For people I've known for weeks.
Yeah. It's an accomplishment. Backpacking.
But that puts it in perspective.
Right?
That you're viewing that as I've known this person for 3 weeks.
I've known you for 3 weeks now, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty solid.
I know. Well, you spent 2 weeks of that in Pi, so.
Yeah, it's true. So we knew each other. I guess only spent a few different times here.
Yeah.
But it counts for something, maybe.
Yeah, and we'll build on it,
Yeah,
so
of course, man. I'll be
time,
back
don't go too
here,
fast.
the language exchanges and everything. But yeah, I really do like it. Well, you know what, man? I want to ask you one more question.
Okay.
And this is what I ask. We ask all our guests at the end of the show, and I just want you to answer with the first thing that pops in your head.
Oh,
Before-
I don't like this, because at the start you said you were there's no planned questions.
I did say that.
It's really
I
chilled
lied.
out. Boom.
There aren't generally. I have one prepared question that I spring on you at the very end.
Oh, I think a customer needs
Oh,
me.
is there a customer here? This is an easy one, though.
Okay, all right.
Before you die,
Yeah.
name one thing that you would like to do.
Oh, shit. I know this is gonna be really, it's gonna be cheesy and whatever.
That's fine, man.
I would like to have a family and some sense of happiness and productiveness within that life.
Right.
I don't want to say I want to have kids, but I want to be happy.
Yeah.
And I want to share that happiness with my family.
That's great, man. It's funny because you're not the first person to give this answer. Everyone who does give this answer usually qualifies it in a similar way. This is going to sound cheesy. It's going to sound...
Yeah.
And you know what?
I just listened to some of the other shows. That was the one I liked.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't think it's necessary to qualify. I guess I know, there is a tendency, maybe there's a thought that for the backpackers, maybe people listening to the show, you're supposed to not want this. You're supposed to be alternative and blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
But you know what? Being an independent person is not about doing things in spite of society or whatever.
Absolutely.
It's doing what you want. If it's against what society thinks, you do it anyway.
Yeah.
And if it's with what is what society does normally, that's also good. I think with the spirit of backpacking and all this whole thing, it's about being an individual.
Yeah.
And whether or not that coincides with whatever people expect or whatever of you.
It's taking control of your own life.
Yeah.
We're bombarded with social expectations, advertising, media.
Yes.
You should do this, you should do that. You know what? I don't care. I try hard not to care. And many people say who dressed you this morning? It's like, I dressed myself. I know I can't do it properly. I know my
It's
pants.
proper for you, though.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, man. Being an individual. I think that's actually if I were to think about what's the message of this whole podcast, and it's, on the surface, it's a show about backpacking
It
and
would
traveling.
be joinaudible.com.
Yeah, also joining Audible. But really, it's about being an individual, I think. But yes, please do go to audibletrial.com/WTE podcast. You can help out the show and get yourself a free audiobook while we're mentioning it.
I didn't realize you can get free stuff, so I'm probably gonna go there.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you coming on
It's a pleasure.
to the
Thank
show. We will link up to you. Is there? I guess we have a Facebook page for Focus.
There is a Facebook page, Focus Coffee Bar Gallery, I believe.
Is it like facebook.com/Focus Bar Gallery?
Yep.
Okay.
Focus Coffee Bar Gallery, possibly.
Okay. Well, we'll find out what it is properly and put the link in the.
Okay. Good idea.
If you go to WTEpodcast.com. We do a write-up along with the postings for each episode. So that post will have the ways you can find Focus. Is there anywhere else you want people to find you, like Twitter or anything like that?
No, I don't follow this social media too much because it kills me doing too much with it. So we got Facebook. We don't have a website. Facebook's easy.
Cool. So
everyone's on it.
Well, if you go to, so folks who want to find out about this event, if you go to WTEpodcast.com, the post for this episode, which should be episode 40, barring any unforeseen circumstances, that will have links to finding the Focus on the Facebook page, as well as the event, the group for the language exchange.
Absolutely.
So folks who will happen to make your way to Chiang Mai, definitely, come check this place out. Come check out the event. It's really a really nice thing that's going on here. So Daniel, thanks again, man, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of Walking the Earth podcast. Again, check us out at WTEpodcast.com. Check out audibletrial.com/WTE podcast to help us out. And for now, I'm Mike, and here with Daniel, signing off from Chiang Mai, Thailand. Thanks for listening.